tackling 5 misconceptions about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out some tweets that we saw online, which a lot of people read and believe in, and kind of get you the real idea of what's happening in Gaza. So the first one is Israel is blocking the UN from giving out humanitarian aid in an attempt to starve the population. What actually is happening, since day one of this war, Israel has been working with a lot of international organizations, with the international community to make sure that aid is going into Gaza. We actually have a joint war room outside of Gaza where IDF, COGAT, and the international community sit and meet and talk about how to make more efficient procedure of bringing aid into Gaza. What is happening currently is there's 2 ways of aid going into Gaza. One is the new system that you've probably heard of, the GHF, the distribution sites where people can get aid without the intervention of Hamas. And the second thing that is still happening is the old method where the international organization is giving out trucks of aid in Gaza. What is happening currently? There are somewhere between 400 and 500 trucks waiting for the UN. Yes, you heard it right. Waiting for the international community to pick them up and distribute them from within Gaza. So Israel allowed aid, checked it, made sure there's no explosives, anything illegal in those trucks, approved it to go in, and those trucks are waiting in Gaza, you heard it, for the international community to distribute them. Second question, the IDF is targeting hospitals as a weapon to punish civilians. So I can also share from personal experience. I'll tell you this, the IDF has never and never will target a hospital. The IDF is operating against a terror organization, Hamas, a very cynical one, that, spoiler alert, you have not seen them wear a uniform since the last ceasefire, because they don't. They hide behind civilians, they dress up as civilians, and they hide in hospitals. Just a few weeks ago, I went with reporters, and I saw where Muhammad Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, the most senior leader of Hamas, was meeting with more senior leaders of Hamas directly beneath an ER, one of the most important hospitals in Gaza. What did the IDF do? We were able to hit the tunnels. The civilians to get out of harm's way and then going in to fight Hamas. We would obviously much rather operate with an element of surprise against Hamas, but we are doing that in order to keep the civilians safe and make sure they have a chance to get out of harm's way, something Hamas is doing the opposite of, doing everything they can to make sure that they are dressed up as civilians and hiding behind civilians. The fourth one is Israel is preventing Gazans from getting medical assistance. So as I spoke about before, Israel is doing a whole lot to make sure the hospitals can function in Gaza. Just to remind you, Israel, when we saw there was an outbreak of polio in Gaza, or a potential outbreak of polio in Gaza, Israel ran a campaign giving out millions of vaccinations to Gazans in need alongside the international community. Israel is running a campaign of checking when there are people in need in special assistance and taking them out of Gaza and sending them to special hospitals in Israel and across the world. Israel ran a campaign to find a Yazidi woman that was trafficked by Hamas and to bring her out. So Israel is doing everything we can to make sure that people are getting the right assistance. Number 5, the IDF purposely shoots at Gazan civilians in humanitarian distribution areas. 1, the IDF is not in the distribution site. 2, there is a private security company of the GHF in those distribution sites. 3, the IDF does not target civilians whatsoever. 4, what Hamas did, and very cleverly, is took incidents in different areas near the distribution sites where those areas are described as a war zone, and said IDF has fired towards people near the distribution site. I was there a few days ago. I saw the people coming in. There's a very clear path. Anyone who wants to get aid goes on the very clear path. It's wide as a highway. It's very clear where you're supposed to be. And IDF troops are nowhere close. If someone is approaching or fighting IDF troops somewhere nearby, those places nearby are active war zones, are not the place where aid is given. And I side with my own eyes. Those places are secured by a private security company. IDF is not in there, is nowhere near there. I was in the closest post, which is a few hundred meters away. The mission continues.